A diesel mechanic on a tractor forum shared something that most compact tractor owners never hear. He said the best compact tractor he has ever worked on is not a new John Deere, not a new Kubota, not a new Mahindra or Kioti or New Holland. It's a 25-year-old used compact tractor with a mechanical diesel engine, thousands of hours on the meter, and nothing but routine maintenance behind it. And then he said something that should stop every person watching this from signing paperwork at a dealership this weekend. He said the compact tractors being sold new today are designed to be serviced by a laptop, not a wrench. When the warranty ends, the electronics, the emissions equipment, and the dealer-only diagnostics turn a $250 repair into a $2,500 repair. And that's not one grumpy old-timer talking. Mechanics, dealers, and longtime owners repeat it on every major tractor forum in America. So today, I'm giving you exactly what the title promised: the 5 compact tractors mechanics buy for their own farm. Not what they sell, not what the brochure pushes. The used John Deere, Kubota, Yanmar, and Massey Ferguson diesel tractors they park in their own barn, the most reliable compact tractors ever sold in America for a small farm or hobby farm. These are machines that owners report running 4,000, 6,000, even 8,000 hours on a small property, and every single one costs less than the cheapest new compact tractor on the lot. And 2 quick warnings before we start. One of the 5 tractors on this list is wearing a costume, a famous American brand name hiding a completely different company underneath, and I'll show you which one in a minute. And whatever you do, stay for number 5, because the oldest, weakest, cheapest tractor on this list is the one mechanics defend the hardest, and the hour meters will explain why. But first, you need to understand why modern compact tractors have become so expensive to own. And don't skip ahead here, because this next 90 seconds is the part that saves you real money, whether you buy anything on this list or not. It is usually not the engine that kills them. Compact diesels from Kubota, Yanmar, and Daidong are some of the most durable machines ever built. Tractors die financially because owners buy tractors packed with electronics, emissions equipment, plastic components, and proprietary systems that become incredibly expensive the day the warranty ends. Let me walk you through what's actually bolted onto a modern compact tractor. Since the Tier 4 emissions standards rolled out, most new diesel tractors over about 25 horsepower carry a DPF, a diesel particulate filter that traps soot and then burns it off in what's called a regeneration cycle. Run your tractor 20 minutes at a time, light duty, low heat, the way most small property owners actually do, and that filter never gets hot enough to clean itself. It clogs. And when a DPF clogs or fails outside warranty, owners report bills that can run into the thousands for what is essentially a very expensive soot trap. Larger compacts add DEF systems, diesel exhaust fluid, another tank, another pump, more sensors, more things to freeze, crystallize, and fail. Then there's the fuel system. Old tractors use mechanical injection, a pump, a line, an injector. Simple, rebuildable, and famously tolerant of less than perfect fuel. New tractors use common rail injection, running extreme pressures, managed by an ECU, fed by sensors, and unforgiving of water or dirt in the fuel. Add electronic PTO engagement instead of a lever, electronic HST controls instead of a cable, and enough sensors and safety interlocks to leave a perfectly healthy tractor dead in the field because of a $40 switch. And here's the kicker. On many modern machines, you can't even find that switch yourself, because the diagnostics run through dealer-only software that you are not allowed to buy. Your tractor breaks, you load it on a trailer, and you pay dealership rates for a technician to plug in a laptop before anyone even picks up a wrench. And this isn't theoretical. Spend an hour on any tractor forum, and you'll find the same story on repeat. A nearly new machine, meticulously maintained, drops into limp mode mid-job because a regeneration didn't complete, or a sensor threw a code. The engine is perfect. The tractor is a hostage to its own software. And the cruelest part is that light-duty users get hit hardest, the 5-acre owners this class of tractor is marketed to, because short, easy jobs are exactly the duty cycle that emissions hardware hates most. The harder you baby a modern diesel, the faster you kill it. Nobody puts that in the brochure. Still with me? Good, because everything from here is the answer to that problem. The 5 tractors you're about to see either avoid these problems completely or are built so well that mechanics know they'll run for thousands of hours before any major repair. That is not an accident. Mechanics pick these machines because they know exactly what breaks, what doesn't, and what it costs when it does. Before the first tractor, do me one favor. Hit subscribe. It costs you nothing, and it tells YouTube that people still want the truth about this equipment instead of another sponsored review. 1. The John Deere 790, built from roughly 1999 to 2007. And yes, this is the tractor from the intro. And this is the one wearing the costume. Remember I told you one of these machines has a famous American name, hiding a different company underneath? The 790 wears green paint, but it was built by Yanmar in Japan, top to bottom. Engine, frame, everything. And if you watched our last video about who really builds compact tractor engines, you already knew where this was going. Here's the twist. That costume is precisely why mechanics love it. Under the hood is a roughly 27 horsepower, naturally aspirated Yanmar diesel with mechanical fuel injection. Naturally aspirated, so no turbo to fail. Mechanical injection, so no ECU, no common rail, no sensors deciding whether your tractor runs today. And because it was built before the emissions crackdown, there is no DPF, no DEF, no regeneration cycles, and no electronic injection anywhere on the machine. The wiring on a 790 is basically a battery, a starter, lights, and a fuel shutoff. That's the whole nervous system. The transmission is a simple gear drive. No hydrostatic pump to whine, overheat, or fail. Just gears and a clutch. The hydraulics are equally simple, and owners consistently describe the 790 as a tractor where almost everything is accessible with basic hand tools. Fuel burn? Owners report around 0.6 to 0.9 gallons per hour doing real work, so you can run it all Saturday for the price of lunch. And because Deere sold a mountain of these, parts availability is massive through Deere dealers and the aftermarket. Loader, mower, tiller, box blade, rotary cutter, snowblower, post hole digger. The 790 takes all of it. Clean examples typically trade in the $7,000 to $12,000 range, and owners report they barely depreciate anymore because everyone who understands them wants one. Run it 10 years and there's a decent chance you sell it for close to what you paid. Try that with anything carrying a particulate filter. 2. The Kubota B7800, built from roughly 2003 to 2008, and this might be the most recommended used compact tractor in America. Ask on any forum what to buy for a small farm, and this model, or its close siblings, comes up within the first 5 replies almost every time. The heart of it is a 30 horsepower Kubota diesel, and remember from the last video, Kubota is one of the only brands in this segment that designs and builds its own engines, and those engines have a reputation that borders on religious. Mechanical injection, no emissions hardware. Owners report B7800S, crossing 4,000 to 6,000 hours with nothing but routine maintenance, and on a small property working 50 to 100 hours a year. You can do the math on how many decades that represents. Now here's the answer to the question I just asked you. Yes, the B7800 has a hydrostatic transmission. Push a pedal, go forward, push the other way, reverse. But the B7800's HST is a completely different animal from the sealed junk we've torn apart on this channel. It's a simple, serviceable, industrial-grade HST from the era before electronic control, no computer managing it, just fluid, a pump, and a pedal, and Kubota's hydraulic reliability from this period is outstanding. That matters, because for loader work, an HST is genuinely better. Feathering a loader into a pile of gravel with a clutch and gears is a skill. Doing it with a pedal is a Tuesday. That's why mechanics point people with 2 to 15 acres, hobby farms, and horse properties at this exact machine. It runs a loader, rotary cutter, grapple, box blade, finish mower, snowblower, even a backhoe. And behind it stands Kubota's huge dealer network with parts on the shelf in nearly every county in America. Clean B7800s typically sell used in the $10,000 to $15,000 range with a loader. Mechanics don't recommend it because it's old. They recommend it because it's close to the newest tractor you can buy that's still fully mechanical where it counts, and there will never be another one like it rolling off a line. But here's where it gets interesting. There is a cheaper option that might be the toughest machine on this entire list. 3. The Yanmar YM2000 and YM2210. And this one is going to surprise some people, because we're talking about tractors built back in the 1970s and early 1980s. Machines pushing 50 years old. And mechanics quietly love them for one simple reason. They are almost impossible to kill. These are small Yanmar diesels, most of them 2-cylinder mechanical engines in the low to mid 20 horsepower range, from the same company that Ghost builds John Deere's compact line. There is no ECU, there are no sensors, there is no emissions equipment of any kind, there is nothing electronic on the tractor beyond the starter, the glow plugs, and the lights. The transmission is a plain gearbox. The filters are cheap and everywhere. A mechanic on a forum described working on one, and the toolkit was a socket set, a wrench, a jack, and a torque wrench. That's the entire service department. Fuel consumption is where these old Yanmars get almost comical. Owners report burning less than half a gallon per hour in light work. For a 1 to 10 acre property, this class of machine does 90% of what people actually need a tractor for at maybe 20% of the cost. Now, the honest caveats, because this channel doesn't sell fantasies, many of these Yanmars came into the country as gray market imports, built for the Japanese market and brought over later. That's not a deal breaker. Thousands are working American farms right now, and aftermarket parts suppliers specialize in these exact models, so filters, gaskets, and wear parts remain widely available. But you're not walking into a dealership with a warranty claim. You're buying a machine, not a relationship, and mechanics are fine with that trade. These regularly change hands in the $3,000 to $6,000 range, which makes them the cheapest real diesel tractor money can buy. Quick pause. If you own any of these, or you own the modern computerized version, and you've already met the regeneration light, tell me in the comments, because the ownership reports you fellas leave are better than half the forums I research. And hit subscribe. Now, the last two tractors are the ones mechanics argue about most, and the final one is going to sound like a joke until you hear the hour meters. 4. The Massey Ferguson 1526, specifically the early pre-emissions versions, and this is the pick for the person who wants something newer than the classics without inheriting the electronics problem. Here's the secret behind this one, and it follows the pattern this channel keeps uncovering. The engine isn't a Massey engine, it's an Iseki-built diesel from the Japanese manufacturer that has quietly built Massey's compacts for decades, and that's a compliment because Iseki diesels have a strong record, and the 1526 wraps one in a heavily mechanical, straightforward package. Few electronic components, strong hydraulics with a reputation for holding up, an excellent loader that punches above the tractor's size, easy maintenance, with good parts support through the Massey network. And when you read what owners say about living with a 1526, the reports get almost boring, which is exactly what you want. The routine is oil changes, hydraulic filters, fuel filters, and that's about it for years. No codes, no regeneration, no trailer rides to the dealership. The drivetrain has an excellent reputation when serviced regularly. If the 790 and B7800 markets in your area are picked clean, and they often are, the 1526 is the sleeper most buyers walk right past. 5. The Kubota B7100, built from 1976 to 1985. And this is the one I warned you about in the intro. The oldest, weakest, cheapest tractor on this list, and the one mechanics defend the hardest. It's going to make some of you laugh until you check the classifieds and see what these little machines still sell for. Because here's the fact that ends the argument. Thousands of them are still working today, and owners report examples with 5,000 to 8,000 plus hours that still start easily on a cold morning. A shot of glow plug, a turn of the key, and a diesel that's been knocking away since the Carter administration settles into an idle like it has somewhere to be. That's the payoff I promised you. The hour meters don't care about your horsepower. Mechanics love the B7100 for every reason on this list. Distilled to its purest form. Almost no electronics. A small mechanical diesel with incredibly low fuel consumption, a simple clutch, a simple transmission, a lightweight frame, and maintenance so cheap it barely registers. It was designed before manufacturers started chasing comfort packages and screens, and it shows. Now, let's be honest. The B7100 isn't powerful, and it was never trying to be. But for gardens, orchards, hobby farms, mowing, tilling, and light loader work, it does everything asked of it on a teaspoon of fuel, and it will likely still be doing it when your grandkids inherit the place. There's a reason these almost never sell cheap. The people who own them know exactly what they have, and before we close, run the numbers across all 5, because this part should genuinely bother you. The most expensive tractor on this list, a nice B7800 with a loader, costs around $15,000. A comparable new compact, loaded with the emissions hardware and electronics we covered, leaves the lot at $20,000 to $30,000. The new machine costs more upfront, costs more to repair, needs a dealership to diagnose, and depreciates the moment it's delivered. The old machine fixes with hand tools and holds its value because demand for pre-emissions iron keeps climbing every year. That is not nostalgia, that is arithmetic. Now, here is the lesson that ties all 5 together. Every mechanic, every dealer tech, and every longtime owner in this research said the same thing in different words. The engine and the injection system are the only things that matter. Everything else is marketing. Air conditioning is nice, Bluetooth is nice, a digital dash is nice. But none of it means anything when a clogged particulate filter puts a healthy 800-hour tractor in limp mode, or a $40 sensor strands you in the backfield, and the only tool that can find it lives at a dealership 45 minutes away. So here's the formula, and you can write this one down. Buy a mechanical diesel, buy mechanical injection, buy a machine built before the emissions hardware, or one simple enough that a socket set can fix it. Buy where the parts are plentiful, Deere Yanmar, Kubota, Iseki Massey, and the gray market Yanmar aftermarket all qualify. And when you go look at one, the checklist is short. Cold start it yourself, no smoke show, no hesitation after the glow plugs. Look for clean oil on the dipstick, work every gear, work the 3-point and the loader. And listen, these machines don't hide problems well, and that's exactly the point. Everything on them was designed to be seen, reached, and fixed by the person who owns it. That is what mechanics buy for their own farms. Not because they're loyal to a brand, and not because they hate new technology. Because they spend all week fixing other people's tractors, and they are not spending their weekends fixing their own. If you learned something from this, hit subscribe, because this channel exposes the engineering decisions quietly ruining the equipment your property depends on. And if you want to see which 3 companies secretly build around 80% of the compact tractor engines in America, including the one in your John Deere, that video is on your screen right now. Click it, because once you see who really builds these machines, you will never look at a dealer lot the same way again.